Hello all, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be talking about Vogel's approximation method. So this is the given problem, this is the supply, and this is the demand. When we sum this up, the supply equals demand. Move this around the upper corner part and then do the sum. We have to subtract the smallest element with the next smallest element. This method is quite different. We subtract the smallest element of this first row. Now let's just take the first row and we will subtract it with the next smallest element. So then we write it as your row penalty, which is 9. So 19 minus 10 becomes 9. So that's called the row penalty. We continue the same and write the value here. And for the second row, it is 40 minus 30. The first smallest value is 30 and the second smallest value is 40. We subtract it and we write the value for row penalty. Then we do the same and then we write the row penalty value. Now again we do the same technique to find the column penalty value. So then we find the column penalty, that is, same technique we apply for the first column. So here if we apply it as such, 40 minus 19 becomes 21. So we subtract the smallest element with the next smallest element. Okay, and 30 minus 8, so 8 is the first smallest value, the second smallest value is 30, and then we subtract this as 30 minus 8, which is 22, and similarly all the other values here. The next step is to find the maximum penalty of all. So the maximum penalty of all is 22. So after getting all the penalty values, we find the maximum penalty value and then we apply the least cost cell method for that penalty value. So the same technique. If you don't know what least cost cell method is, check out my other video. So we apply the same for it. Go to that corresponding line and you find 8 as your value. So what we do is, here we find the least cell, which is 8, and we do the same for what we have done before. So write the smallest value. So for all the things, the smallest value of 18 and 8, we write the smallest value here and then we subtract all the value and we get that value as 10, and then we cut the whole column, similar to what we have done before. Now we alter the other values. Now your penalty values would change, so we are supposed to write it again. So find the penalty value, repeat the same set of steps again, find the penalty values, that is your smallest value with the next smallest value. You have got to subtract both of them, and then 19 minus 10 is 9. Again 40 and 60, it's going to be 20, and the similar thing happens for row and columns as well. So you write all the penalty values, do the same technique again, find the maximum penalty value, which is nothing but 21, and find the least cell for that particular line, which is 19. Then your supply or demand, write the least value of your supply or demand, which is 5. One thing to be noted here is that in the outer part you're finding the highest value, and in the inner part, all of these to be considered, you're gonna find the lowest part. So then we will cut the values and write the values, and then we find the difference between both of them, 5 and 7, that is gonna be 2, and then cut the whole column. The next step is, again we are gonna repeat the same set of steps, find the maximum penalty, then go inside and find the least cell of 70 and 20, which is nothing but 20, and then write the value, least supply or demand value, and then alter it, and then cut the entire row or column that has the least value of supply or demand, and then re-alter the rows and columns, find the maximum penalty value, write the value out here. The smallest one is 2 here for that particular line, and then smallest cell value is also 10, so we write it as such, and then cut the value, that's 2 here, 4 minus 2 is 2, and then cut the entire row do the same thing again. Find the maximum penalty value. Write the value out here, least supply or demand value in the least cell, and then cut the value, write the value out here, cut the entire row, then we see it again, write the value out here. Here in terms it's gonna be the same value, we're gonna write it and then we're gonna cut it, which is nothing but 0, and your maximum penalty is gonna be 40, and you cut the entire row and column. So like what we did in the previous problems, we just write all the values that we have found and we multiply it. Now don't put the row and column penalty values here because that's not needed. We have found the values, corresponding values for it, and then we find the total cost, which is nothing but you're going to multiply the cell value and the upper value out here, and then we are going to just add it all of them, and your total cost is nothing but 779. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.